Hi, I'm Mark Lund, author of The Effective Investor. You may have heard me talk about the myths of investing in the past. Today I want to talk about the second myth, track record investing. Now, track record investing is using performance history as a way to determine the best investments. This is not a reliable method of investing. Peter Lynch even acknowledges the challenge of identifying the next great stock picker. Now, Peter Lynch was the manager of the Fidelity Magellan Fund from June 1977 through May 1990. He said, all the time and effort that people devote to picking the right fund, the hot hand, the great manager, have in most cases led to no advantage. Now, it should also be pointed out that many portfolio managers, financial advisors, stockbrokers, and financial planners claim consistent superior performance, but do not provide independently validated evidence of that performance from a firm like Global Investment Performance Standards, also known as GIPS. Now, if returns seem too good to be true, ask for a GIPS audit. If they can't provide a GIPS audit, then be leery. Now, to learn more about GIPS, visit their website at gipsstandards.org. Now, performance can be evaluated in a variety of ways. However, without knowing how a person is measuring his or her own performance and whether or not that person is doing it properly, it's impossible to know if claims of superior performance are valid. Even the best portfolio managers occasionally have poor years, while the worst portfolio managers occasionally have good years. Now, let's use some real-life examples for mutual fund managers. Now, this will help illustrate that funds or managers that did well in the past do not always do well in the future. Also, if we're going to search for the best managers, let's be sure to use a long enough track record. Now, a 10-year history should be sufficient. Now, what I present here is mutual fund data from the Center of Research of Security Price out of the University of Chicago. Now, it consists of the 30 top performing mutual funds from 1990 to 1999. The top 30 U.S. equity funds' average annual return during this period was just over 27%. All U.S. equity funds' average annual return was almost 15%. The S&P 500 average annual returns was almost 19%. Now, these 30 funds delivered significantly higher returns, 27% versus the all funds average of 14.8% and the S&P 500 of 18.8%. Which funds do you think most financial advisors were recommending in January of 2000? That's correct, the same top 30 funds. How well do you think these same 30 funds did over the next 10 years, from 2000 to 2009? The top 30 U.S. equity funds' average annual return was negative 4%. All U.S. equity funds' average annual return was 2%, and the S&P 500 did just 1%. Now, these 30 funds delivered lower returns, a negative 4% versus the all funds average of 2% and the S&P 500 of 1%. Did they repeat their performance? No. They underperformed both the all funds average and the S&P 500. They all underperformed the market as a whole. So each year we update this study to, do you think it changes? The numbers change, but the results are the same. For example, here are the results from the most recent update from 1994 to 2003. The top 30 U.S. equity funds' average return was 17%. The all U.S. equity funds' average return was 8.5%, and the S&P 500 average returns were 11%. The top 30 funds delivered higher returns, 17% versus the all funds average of 8% and the S&P of 11%. Now, how well do you think these top 30 funds did over the next 10 years, from 2004 to the end of 2013? Well, the top 30 U.S. equity funds average return 7.7%, and the all U.S. equity funds average was 8%. The S&P 500 at 7.4%. So surprise, surprise, these 30 funds delivered lower returns, 7% versus the all funds average of 8% and the S&P of 7%. So here's what we learned from these studies each year. A manager's ability to pick stocks in the past has a zero correlation with his or her ability to do so again in the future. Now, the reason why mutual fund companies have hundreds of mutual funds to pick from is because they have no idea which one will beat the market in any given year. The more funds they have, the greater the chance of one of them performing well. If one does do well, they can spotlight that manager and have something to advertise to attract new business. If they really knew which one was going to be the best performer, they would only need one fund. This is one of the reasons we do not use actively managed management in our portfolios. If you have any questions about your investments, please feel free to call us anytime or download a free copy of our Retirement Essentials Kit. Just go to freeretirementessentialskit.com. That's it for today. Have a great day.